Hi friends, welcome back for another Foster Care Friday. Today we're going to be talking about dietary preferences and foster parenting or raising children in foster care and what some of those sort of needs are and what they look like and what some of the rules and boundaries are with that. So if you're interested in that, then please stick around. But first, if you're new here, my name is Anna Leonora, and together with my husband Jason, we are foster parents in real life. And here on my channel, From the Fosters, we do foster parenting life together and we raise awareness for the foster care system. So if any of that interests you, then please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel down below so that you can join our growing cyber family here on YouTube. All right, let's get right into it. So someone asked me the question this week about how do you go about being a foster parent if you have certain dietary restrictions in your home, such as if you're a vegetarian and you don't allow meat or meat products in your home? How do you raise children in foster care who maybe weren't raised vegetarian? And that's a good question. And it's like everything else in foster care, it all depends. It depends on the case, it depends on the state, it depends on the agency, it depends on the child, it depends on the foster family, the birth family, it just depends. But there are some things that I want people to think about. When a child comes into foster care, they are in foster care through no fault of their own. They are not in foster care because they did anything wrong. They have now lost their family, their home, potentially their pets, their friends, their school, the food they're used to, maybe religious practices and traditions they're used to. That's all gone. They've lost it all, and it's not their fault. So it's really important for foster families to understand that there are some things that we can do to help make it a little bit easier. It would be really difficult for a child to come from a home that ate primarily meat to go to a home that doesn't eat meat at all. That would be very tough. On top of losing their family, their friends, their home, and all these other things, now you're expecting them to eat foods that they maybe were never exposed to. They don't know what it is. They're scared of it. They're already not feeling great. So it's hard. There are foster families that are vegetarian. As far as I know, at least in my state, there aren't laws or rules around saying that if a foster child comes into your home, you would be forced to feed them meat if you're a vegetarian family. So certainly it's possible. But I just implore people to think about the child and the situation the child's in, and you take them from everything they know and put them in a new house with a new family, with new rules, with new everything. They don't know what's going on, and say, here's a plate of vegetables. And maybe they've never seen a vegetable or they don't know what a vegetable is. So we were taught in my training that the first couple nights a foster child is with you, it's super important to feed them things that would be familiar for them. And a lot of the children that come into foster care, the foods that are familiar to them are fast foods, chicken nuggets, pizza, macaroni, ramen, things that are cheap, quick, and easy. Sorry, my cat's tapping me for attention down here. So we were always told when a child first comes to your home, that first night, first couple nights, to get them fast food or feed them pizza, mac and cheese, something like that. We have always done that. But we're not vegetarian. We don't have those kinds of dietary restrictions. So if you are a vegetarian family, I would say have things on hand when you're getting a placement that you're comfortable feeding them, that they may be comfortable having, and give them a choice. Mac and cheese, pizza, yes, those are not vegan options, but they are vegetarian options. Mac and cheese, pizza, make sure you have fruits on hand. They may not know what vegetables are. They may not want to touch vegetables. And at the end of the day, it's your job as their foster parent to be taking care of them, keeping them safe and healthy, right? So if you have a child who's not going to eat vegetables, it is your job to figure out what they will eat that can get them the nutrients they need. I can give you a real life example. We have a foster son who has lived with us for almost 1.5 years. It's been like 1 year and 4 months. That's a good amount of time for a young child, and he still won't eat vegetables. He never had to eat vegetables before he came to us. He wasn't introduced to a lot of different vegetables, so vegetables scare him. And on top of that, he has some sensory things that make it so he's really only comfortable eating a couple different foods. So it's up to us. He honestly, he would rather starve than eat a vegetable. That's the honest truth. And there's his reasons for that. But as foster parents, we can't let him starve. So just because he won't eat vegetables, we can't let him starve. So we, of course, expose him to vegetables. We put vegetables on his plate. We don't force feed them to him, but we expose him to them. But if he's not going to eat them, it's up to us to figure out what he will eat. So he will eat several different types of fruits. So we'll make sure he gets several different types of fruits. We'll sneak vegetables in ways like they have those applesauce pouches that have fruits and vegetables in them. We'll give him those and call them applesauce, and he'll eat that. But you just can't expect a child who's not used to a certain diet to take to that right away. Now, you can introduce them to it slowly, of course. You can take them to the store and say, let's have some options that you're comfortable with, that we're comfortable with. Let's do this together. But I just implore people who have very strict dietary limits on things in their home to just try to understand what these children are going through. You may have a child coming into your home that is only used to eating chicken nuggets and French fries, and that's the only meal they know. So are you going to only feed them French fries because you don't agree with chicken nuggets? I don't know. And of course, there are vegetarian and vegan options for faux nuggets that you could try with them, but what if they don't like that? You just need to try to be considerate and understanding of what that child is going through. Now, that being said, you are not required to serve meat in your home if you're not a meat eater. That's not a law. It's not a requirement. But you just have to try to be sensitive to what these kids are going through, and to take away foods that are familiar to them on top of everything else would almost be cruel, in my opinion. Also, being mindful of if they're a member of a certain religion that has certain dietary restrictions. You know, there are certain religions that don't eat pork. So for a child to go to a home where they don't believe in eating pork, to go to a home that eats pork with, you know, dinner every night, that would be overwhelming. Same with beef. There are certain religions that don't eat beef, certain religions that don't eat shellfish, etc. So of course, you should not be made to eat the things that you don't like, and you shouldn't be forced to make and do things in your home that you're not comfortable with. But just trying to have a little bit of understanding and compassion for what the children are going through. And if they're with you long term, then you, of course, slowly over time adapt them to the way that you're eating and the diet you have in your home, and, you know, all this, that, and the other. But in the beginning, it's just so important to be so careful. If a child's older and you can have these open, honest conversations with them, do it. You can tell them, hey, look, we don't eat these things in our home for our own personal beliefs, but we want to make sure you have foods that you're comfortable eating. So let's go to the store together and let's pick out some things that we're okay with being in our home, that you are okay with eating, because we want to make sure that you're well fed. But if it's a younger kid, just trying to listen to them, trying, you know, not to force feed them things that they don't want to eat, making sure that they are eating and that they are well fed and have good nutrition, and just doing so in a way that's comfortable for them, because they're already going through so much by coming into foster care. And then over time, yeah, you adapt them to your life. I mean, Casper's been with us 1.5 years. That's a long time. And if we didn't serve vegetables for 1.5 years because he doesn't like them, well, that's a big deal. Of course, we didn't try to force vegetables on him in the beginning, but slowly over time, we have added vegetables and we put them on his plate. And even if he doesn't eat them, at least he's being exposed to them, so that we can make that happen at some point. So yes, you can be vegetarian or have other dietary restrictions and be a foster parent. I just implore people to try to have some understanding for what these kids are going through. And if you get a kid whose diet was only meat and they never ate fruits or vegetables at all, to try to have some compassion for them and feed them things that they're comfortable with, at least in the beginning, and then you can work slowly on transitioning them to your diet. But yeah, have compassion for these kids. They're already going through so much, and to take away any semblance of food that they're familiar with from them on top of everything else is just, it's just adding more and more layers to the trauma they're already going through. So of course, I absolutely agree with vegetarian lifestyle. I have been vegetarian myself. I've gone back and forth being vegetarian, vegan, and meat eater. I kind of go back and forth. I agree wholeheartedly with the vegetarian movement, and I understand it. But if my kids are not going to eat anything other than corn dogs and chicken nuggets, I would rather my kid be fed and healthy. You know, I know that's not the most healthy option, but it's healthier than them not eating at all. And there are some kids who will not eat at all if you don't give them the choices that they're comfortable and familiar with. So again, everything is case dependent. Take it slow, get to know the kid, get to know what their diet is. Try to have compromises. Like, if this is a food you're comfortable with, you know, maybe you're not comfortable with meat, but you're okay with cheese. So you're okay with getting them cheese pizza. They're comfortable with pizza, but you get it with no meat on it. Or you give them mac and cheese, but don't put sausage in it or whatever, right? Like, just try to make compromises with them. Have options that they are also comfortable with so that they know that they're not going to be starved in your home. Because a lot of these kids are starved in previous homes, or they're food insecure, and not having any options that they're comfortable with is just going to keep them in that state of feeling insecure about being fed. So just take it as it comes. You handle the case as it comes, because again, every case is different. Every state's different. Every birth family is different. There are some birth families who are going to be insistent that you don't feed their child certain things, or that you do feed their child certain things. And then there's other birth families who just don't care. As long as their child is fed, they're happy. You know what I mean? So you just have to take each case as it comes. But certainly you don't have to compromise your morals and your ethics and the way you do things in your house, but just trying to have some compassion and understanding that here's this child that's in a totally new environment with totally new people, have no idea what's going on with their house, their family, the people they love and care about, and it's through no fault of their own. So trying not to add insult to injury, and just have the compassion and understanding for what they're going through, and just wanting to make them feel loved and safe. So make sure they have options that they're comfortable with eating as well. That is all I have to say on that. So basically there are no hard and fast rules, but just have the compassion and understanding, and try to understand where they're coming from as well. But yeah, it's totally doable. I know vegetarian families that foster, they just, again, they have options like pizza and macaroni on hand that these kids would be comfortable with as well. So that's all I have to say about that. I hope you guys got some value from this video. If you did, please consider hitting the like button down below. While you're down there, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you're interested in foster parenting, you know a foster parent, or you work with children in foster care, like if you're a teacher or a daycare worker and you come across children in foster care a lot, or if you just want to help raise awareness for the foster care system, subscribe to my channel down below to join our growing family here on YouTube. Otherwise, it's a gorgeous day where I am. I have a couple other videos to film, and then I'm going to go enjoy my day. So y'all have a wonderful Foster Care Friday, and I will see you next week. Go out and continue to shine your light into the world. Bye.